Judge Graves, I'm Kara with Channel 6. We want to talk to you about charging people for weddings.
Tonight, a Call 6 hidden camera investigation exposes a Marion County judge breaking the very rules he helped create.
Our Kara Kinney is now holding that judge accountable and even getting newlyweds their money back. She joins us now with the full investigation. Kara.
That's right, Todd. We exposed Center Township Small Claims Court Judge Michelle Scott using government resources to promote the private wedding business she ran with her husband. Well, she resigned last year, and in response, the courts passed new rules on weddings in an effort to protect your taxpayer resources and the integrity of small claims courts. Well, those rules went into effect January 1st, but we got a tip at least one judge was not following the rules.
After 15 years together, Hosea and Latoya Hunter finally decided to get married. They wanted something small, simple, and cheap, so they headed to their township small claims court.
The church and the big wedding thing, really didn't have the money for it.
The new rules effective January 1st say small claims courts cannot charge for weddings performed on court premises and on court hours. The Call 6 investigators took hidden cameras into all 9 of the Marion County small claims courts.
Looking for some information on getting married
to see if they were following the new rules.
And is there like fees associated with that? Not anymore. Okay.
8 of the 9 township courts either don't charge or the judges just don't do weddings at all.
As a fallout of some of the stuff that happened in Center Township.
But one township did try to charge us for a wedding, Warren Township on Indy's east side.
It's an $80 ceremony fee.
We went back again to make sure we heard that right.
It's an $80 ceremony. $80. Okay. We accept cash, money order, credit cards.
The Hunters paid that fee. Judge Gerald Graves performed the ceremony.
I thought, $80 was a lot. I thought it would have been maybe a little cheaper.
But they shouldn't be charging at all. The Indiana Association of Wedding Officiants helped pass the rules.
I'm very surprised because especially with how public, everything with Judge Scott was, with your investigation, you would think that judges and their staffs and stuff would know how to follow the rules.
In fact, Judge Graves and other small claims court judges gave their input into the wedding rule-making process. Our initial requests to interview Graves were ignored, so we showed up in court.
We want to talk to you about charging people for weddings. Can you answer a couple questions real quick?
Or not.
Well, you're an elected official, sir. I think it's appropriate that you respond. If somebody's in your court and says, hey, I didn't know the rules, would you find that an appropriate response?
A week later, Graves agreed to sit down with us.
Why were you guys charging for weddings?
Well, I was aware of the rule as proposed, but I was unaware that the rule had been passed.
How did you not know about a rule when you were involved in the process of creating those rules?
It's been a lot of rules changes since 2012.
Judge Graves points out several sources he uses to look up rules had old information on weddings. The Supreme Court website, however, did have the correct information.
Some might say it's your duty to know what the rules are.
Yeah, and I admit that that the rule that as proposed and as passed was not being followed. It was inadvertent. It was not intentional.
The money charged went into the township fund, and in response to our findings, Warren Township refunded $400 to couples who wrongly paid for weddings, like the Hunters.
We really needed it, so, it's great. It's surprising. It's wonderful.
And the wedding rules also say if a couple asks about a paid wedding, the court staff cannot recommend any particular officiant. But we found the Wayne Township Court handing out these flyers advertising the judge's weekend wedding business for a $125 fee for outside of court. The judge says they've now stopped handing these flyers out, and he has not performed any weddings.
So, Kara, all very interesting. What did the Hunters do with the money you got back for them?
They say they paid their internet bill, they got a $5 pizza and a movie, and they say they actually spent a few dollars giving it to a homeless person. So $80, it's a lot of money to a lot of people. So we were really happy that we could get that money back for those newlyweds.
Very nice.
Great report. Thank you, Kara. Thanks.
Is getting results tonight after exposing judges and their wedding practices.
Yeah, more than 700 judges from around the state will get an opinion this week that says judges should not pocket ceremony fees, at least for weddings performed at the court. Call 6 investigator Kara Kinney has been digging into this issue for more than a year and joins us now with today's new developments. Kara.
That's right, Todd. Every judge in the state will get this 2-page opinion from the Indiana Commission on Judicial Qualifications. It says judges should not personally accept fees for weddings they perform on court time and during court hours. Now, this opinion also says it's okay for judges to get paid for ceremonies performed outside of court. However, judges should minimize potential conflicts and the appearance of impropriety. Now, this advisory opinion comes months after Call 6 Investigates raised questions about Warren Township Small Claims Court wrongly charging couples for weddings. In Marion County, judges cannot charge a fee if the ceremony is performed using taxpayer resources. Call 6 Investigates also exposed Center Township Small Claims Court Judge Michelle Scott using government resources to promote her private wedding business. Scott resigned shortly after our story aired. Because of these cases, Marion County is looking at updating its rules even further when it comes to judges and weddings, including banning full-time judges from performing weddings for a fee altogether. Now, this advisory decision is not binding, which means judges don't have to follow it. Some courts, like Marion County Small Claims Courts, may choose to be even more strict than what this opinion says. Now, the Commission on Judicial Qualifications does have the power to discipline judges, and last year it banned Small Claims Court Judge Michelle Scott from ever seeking judicial office ever again. I'm Call 6 investigator Kara Kinney.
And only on RTV6, we are getting a rare first-hand account of the inner workings of the state's Department of Child Services from a woman on the front lines, a family case manager.
She says caseloads are unimaginable, and she argues they're putting some of our state's most vulnerable children at risk. RTV6 State House reporter Katie Hines is live to explain. Katie?
And Erica, this employee tells me the caseload for at least one of her colleagues within DCS is 40. That is more than double the caseload standard that is set in state law. She says the ability to do her job has become impossible.
Is one of more than 1,500 family case managers statewide. This woman and her colleagues face challenges on the job every day.
They walk in and there is human feces on the wall. There are rat droppings scattered across the floor, heroin needles sticking out of couches.
We're disguising the state employee's face and voice to protect her identity. She points to those difficult situations as why it's critical for caseworkers to build trust with the children they're assigned to protect.
A lot of the reason we go into the house every month is, one, to make sure the kids are okay, make sure they have food, they're healthy, but also to kind of assess if there's anything else that we didn't catch.
But she says that's increasingly difficult as caseloads have grown 26% in the last year.
There have been instances when a case manager didn't go and visit a child for 6 months, and the child was in a foster home. And the child was actually being sexually molested by her foster father.
She says she and her colleagues have been instructed to spend 15 minutes on each home visit to manage caseloads. That's why she says people are quitting left and right. The turnover rate among family case managers is 20%, and she blames a lack of support from supervisors and deadlines that are difficult to meet, even when caseworkers put in 60 hours a week.
We're being forced to close cases before they're ready to be closed, and the families end up coming back into the system. And if they come back into the system, then we haven't done our job.
I've been exchanging emails today with a DCS spokesman. He says the agency wants to know if anyone on its staff is instructing others to disregard policy or safety, and he says that the agency will address it. DCS is in the process of hiring 113 new family case managers that will bring the state in line with caseload standards. But this employee we talked to argues more support from supervisors is needed. Katie Hines, RTV6.